The winter being over, in order comes the spring, which doth green herbs discover and cause the birds to sing. The night also expired, then comes the morning bright, which is so much desired by all that love the light. This may learn them that mourn to put their grief to flight, The spring succeedeth winter, and day must follow night. A few lines of verse by Anne Collins. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Cross Street Chapel. I'm grateful for your presence here, for everyone who's made it here in person, as well as those who are following online. It should be. I will check at the first hymn if it's not. So thank you for those. We are trying something slightly different. You might know the kit at the front is we've added a second camera for a close-up in the sermon. We will see how it goes. I know that doesn't necessarily affect everyone here unless you're going to crowd around when we get to that point, which I don't advise. You can sit where you are. But we will see. It's always an experiment here, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for people's latitude with me and that. And I'm absolutely, like I say, grateful for your presence here. For whatever reason you've come to us today, it might be you have joy in your heart and you want to sing and laugh with one another. Maybe you've come with tears and sorrow and repose and you need a place to cry. Maybe you've come looking for a few words of wisdom and insight. I hope that you can hear those. Maybe you've come looking for one another, seeking sort of human connection. Or perhaps you've just simply come to rest with the divine, howsoever you define it. Whatever your reason for being here, I am grateful for your presence, and I hope you feel truly welcome just as you are. So we have our chalice lighting, as I said, with Anne Collins. We now turn to our call to worship by Eileen Carpelas. May all who enter here trust one another so surely that they dare to share the deep fires that burst into anger as much as the sweet spring waters that swell into laughter, the slow erosion of wounded tears as much as the soaring song. Reverend Eileen Carpelas, reaffirming why it is, or what, at least many of the reasons why it is that we join together. She speaks of soaring song, so let us sing our first hymn, number 4 in the Purple Book, Andrew Hill's All That Is Abundant Living, All That Is the World's Delight. Hymn number 4. Let us turn now to a time of prayer by these words of the Reverend Maud Robinson. This is entitled Prayer for St. Brigit's Day, which is today, the 1st of February. Context. Legend tells us Brigit asked the authorities for land to build a sacred space for God, and was told that she could have as much as her cloak would cover. She spread forth her cloak in faith. The cloak expanded, spilling outward to cover all the acres of land she needed to establish her community of worship and work. Brigitte cast her cloak. It spread, flowed, forth-claimed, a great expanse to do God's work. So let us cast our meager cloak with hope, with faith. The universe enfolds us in her care, or maybe suffers with us in our greatest groans of failure and despair. On holy ground, may we find a way to embrace the loving and the lost, to celebrate the great, the good, the beating of a drum of hope, to endure or possibly transform the dark nights of our soul. Amen. And please read with me our covenant, which you'll find printed in your order of worship. We gather here in sacred fellowship to witness the fullness of our lives and all life, to hold and be held, tell stories and listen, to be renewed and renew the world. We speak with care and patience. We act with gentleness and compassion. We forgive each other and ourselves. In faith that we build beloved community, we renew our covenant today. Amen. Today's story is Quiet by Tom Percival, and I have read it here before, but it felt very appropriate for today, and it's a lovely story. I love Tom Percival's works. There's another one that we've read here called The River. We did it just back in December. Partly, the stories are beautiful. It also just feels slightly connected to the cross street because some of you may know that our community hall is called the Percival Suite, named after a different Thomas Percival. But this is a living and contemporary writer entitled Quiet, with pictures by Richard Jones. And it's about a bird. Once there lived a small bird with a bright turquoise flash on one wing. She loved to fly through the sky where it was quiet and calm, far away from her woodland home, where an overwhelming jumble of voices filled the air, leaving no room for her little voice to be heard. Even when she tried to join in with the other birds, the words would just curl up inside of her chest. Nothing came out. Then, early one morning, she heard a worrying sound, deep and ominous. Not the downward swoosh of a hawk or the fast, light paws of a fox. This was something new. A low, distant rumble shook the trees, setting her heart trembling. "Quiet!" she chirped into the riotous dawn chorus. "Listen, what's that noise?" But her voice was too small to be heard. So she went to investigate all the way to the far edge of the forest. And that was when she saw it. A mechanical beast tearing up the earth and crushing their homes. Watching in silent horror as the woods were destroyed, the young bird knew that she had to do something. Flying back to her clearing, she landed high up in the tall old oak tree. Thump, thump, thump. Her heart pounded in her chest, right up into her throat. She tried to speak, but she couldn't. No words came out, and nobody noticed her at all. She almost gave up. She almost flew away to the quiet, calm, welcoming sky. But this message was too big, too important. So she took a deep breath and tried again. Everyone listen! A huge metal monster is destroying our woods, and it's coming closer. Nonsense, called a loud old wood pigeon who was always clacking his beak. He puffed his chest out. Nothing can destroy these old woods, you silly little thing. Everyone laughed. The young bird's face flushed. She wanted to fly away, to be calm and alone. But she pushed that feeling right back down. No, she insisted. Just be quiet and listen for once. Then you'll hear. Even though her voice was no louder, it was stronger. And slowly but surely, everyone did fall silent. Even the loud old wood pigeon. Then they could hear it. The screaming of the saw blades, the distant crashing of the trees. We must leave, the wood pigeon bellowed. We must all fly away while we still can. The young bird shook her head. No, she said firmly. We should stay. This is our home. These are our woods. We need to keep them safe. But how? Asked the wood pigeon. It's hopeless. Again, the small bird spoke, her calm words reaching every corner of the clearing. There are hundreds of us, thousands of animals, millions of insects. The forest is home to us all. Just imagine if we all gathered here together. And then we fight? Asked one of the magpies. No, said the young bird. This is my plan, if you're willing to try it. We fill up the clearing, sit still, and stay quiet. So that's exactly what they did. The little bird held her breath. The machine roared closer. She closed her eyes, her heart pounding, and still the machine came. It rumbled closer and closer until the engines fell silent. The saw blades stopped spinning. A quiet song rose up, drifting high into the air, a delicate song of pure beauty and wonder. As the little bird sang, the sound echoed through the woods. It was a song of hope, of family, of love, and of home. It was a song of belonging. At first, she sang alone, but soon all the other creatures in the woods joined in. And there, in the moment, they all understood. Even the workers who climbed back into their machines. The engines rumbled back to life, but the saws remained silent. The machines turned slowly around, and then they were gone. And that was how the forest learnt the song of the small, quiet bird with a turquoise flash on one wing, a song that still rings out, clear and true, because everyone has something to offer, whether big or small, timid or bold, quiet or loud. There is a time and a place for everyone's voice to be heard. Quiet, by Tom Percival. You now have a chance for your voice to be heard, to share your joys and sorrows, your trials, as well as your triumphs. And if you want to come forward and light a candle, please do so. If you have some words to say, come to the microphone, so those who are using the loop system and those who are online will be able to hear you. As always, if you want to light a candle in silence, that's okay and welcomed. And as always, if you want to remain seated, holding your life in your heart, know that your presence here is enough. As I said at the beginning, you're welcome just as you are, and we hold you however you are at this time. So, last week, of course, I spoke about some of the situation in the States and the various challenges and the nuances and complexities that we have in relating to that. But this is a candle very much for our kindred fellowship, the Unitarian Universalist Association, after their president, the Reverend Sophia Betancourt, was arrested at a protest.
That's a candle for my daughter Ramona, who's back in hospital, unfortunately, after not taking her diabetes meds.
That's a candle for my online American friend who rather worried me the other day by opening a chat by saying that ICE were in her city in Pennsylvania, and I know she's quite opinionated like me, so I hope she doesn't say anything that gets her into trouble.
This is a candle for the first day of spring. Yay! As you're probably aware, in the Gaelic tradition, because it falls between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, St. Bridget's Day marks the first day of spring. And it's a shout out also for Bridget, who is also the Saint Patroness of Ireland. So good for her.
Thank you.
For all those joys and sorrows here spoken, and those that remain silently in our hearts. Let us join together in singing our next hymn, number 123 in the Purple Book, On the Dusty Earth Drum, hymn number 123. Our next reading comes by Ingrid Tavkar. I do not see human beings as the ultimate crown of creation. Life forms do not constitute a pyramid with humans at the apex, but rather a circle where everything is connected and interdependent. We could not live without the rest of nature, but nature can carry on without us. Anne Cameron writes, we all have a right to live on this earth. We have the right to be free and to live in balance with nature, a part of nature, not apart from nature. We have the right not to be separated from our mother, and we have the duty and obligation not to have our mother destroyed. We need a holistic approach, with the goal of establishing a balance among all the different communities that comprise the living body of our Mother Earth. I do not subscribe to the dualist presupposition which makes a division between spirit and matter, mind and body, culture and nature. I believe earth-based spirituality can help to heal this perceived split by celebrating the cycle of life, birth, growth, maturity, decay, death, and rebirth, as it manifests in the seasonal round of the year, in the phases of the moon, and in the human, plant, and animal life. Celebrating the cycles of nature is very important to me. Together with others, I have reclaimed ancient rituals at the solstices and equinoxes, affirming my connectedness to the changing cycles of the seasons. By attuning to the passing seasons, May life take on a new vitality. A few words by Ingrid Tavkar. And let us return to a time of prayer with these words of Tess Ward. Healing Spirit, midwife of newness and growth, tend the fresh shoots of our emerging as we set foot this day. Heal our birthing soul when we pass through rings of fire and broken waters on our journey through this world. Fuse our backbone metal with your courage as we stand firm against all that is unjust. Craft our words, that they might meld heart and mind and mend with fiery precision. Befriend our creaturely ways, that we might befriend to all your creatures who share our precious planet. Create in us a prophetic eye, that we might see the new things that you are doing this day and have a vision of tomorrow. Healing Spirit, be with us as we walk this new day. And so let us enter into a period of silence for reflection, meditation, contemplation, and personal prayer. Aaron. We come now to our next hymn, which you'll find in your order of worship as a sort of added leaflet. This comes courteously to us from the Sing Out Love sort of online hymnal that we're experimenting with. Songs of Spirit. The tune will probably be unfamiliar, but I'm not going to sing it this time. I'm going to ask Aaron to play through it completely once, if that's all right. It should be sort of picked up fairly well. And there's 3 verses, so we'll get it by the 3rd time. So, Songs of Spirit by Marion Franklin Ham. I took my son for a walk yesterday, or more likely it was that he took me for the walk, as he was itching to get out. We made a journey through a clough in our neighborhood up in Prestwich. The trees were still bare, the ground hard in most places. There was a crispness to the air, but not too much. In fact, compared to just the day before, it felt almost balmy. Well, maybe not balmy, but I think you get what I mean. Nevertheless, despite all these indications of winter and cold and frozenness being around, the bulbs were starting to poke through. Tufts of sharp and hardy green rising above the grasses and the brown leaves. We spied birds hopping from branch to branch, listened to the soft trickle of water as the stream passed alongside the footpaths and beneath the bridges. Oh, I love the clough. The area was, for a time, a hive of industry. Making its way to the Irwell, the water was used in bleach works. It meandered past the imposing Irwell House before joining with the waters of the Irwell and other neighboring cloughs. Of course, the area has changed significantly since that time. The industry has gone out, housing has come in. The bleach works can only be seen in a few modest bricks poking out from under the dirt and the roots. And the Irwell House, well, that was bombed in World War II by the British for a training exercise. I've become quite fascinated with the history of my community and the strangeness of time, because you can see in this area, you can see ancient paths long preceding the Roman roads, now giving direction to lorries and cars going at speed. But you can also discover, when you're looking into history, what's been lost, with little to no indication of its existence. One road, for instance, Longfield, after which the main village centre is named, used to stretch all the way from Bury New Road up to the tram stop. Now it's just a short alley between two buildings. And unless you look into the history, you would never know that there was actually a long row of houses. It's amazing what is left, whether by intention or accident, and what is new, and what survives into an area's next era, and what has been deemed unneeded, or perhaps even unwanted. Today, we mark Imbolc. Imbolc is an ancient festival, part of the Wheel of the Year, a series of 8 celebrations connected to the seasons and our relationship with the planet. We're now halfway between the winter solstice and the vernal equinox. The dark days are behind us, and already the weather is feeling more manageable. But we're not quite out of the woods yet. We're at a time where the presence of spring is felt, yes, more earnestly, but perhaps it feels very fragile as well. For some, it can be, though, a time of hope, of relief, of being able to sort of let a breath out, knowing that winter is finally passing. Imbolc has undergone its own changes as well since Christianity came to the Isles. Brigid, the Irish deity associated with the season and celebration, Brigid's Day became St. Brigid's Day, creating a link with a 5th century nun, who is, amongst other things, patron saint of healer, blacksmiths, livestock, and dairy workers. Tomorrow is Candlemas, which marks the 40th day from Jesus' birth, and thus his presence at the temple and Mary's cleansing. Both the presence of fire and the symbolism of being washed have their connection to Imbolc, which feels like a gentle hand rocking us awake after the dawn of a winter slumber, after a drawn-out winter slumber. Before the trees regain their leaves, and the April showers bring May flowers, before the spring cleaning, we're asked to start small and perhaps give ourselves a cleansing bath or light a candle. There are a number of theories regarding the name Imbolc. Ewe's milk, in the belly, referring to the lambing season, deep cleaning, all elements that feature at this time of year and in that celebration. And I quickly refer back to the fact that St. Brigid is the patron saint of livestock and dairy workers. Tomorrow, both churches and pagan communities will bless their candles as they prepare for the year. Far from ritual and tradition dividing us, it can speak to humanity's situation and creativity. We draw from the past year the best and the most helpful, and hope that it will serve us well into the year to come. Like the roads and the buildings, some practices have been preserved, some have been swept away, and some have been left to ruin. One of the reasons that we know that Imbolc is ancient is the presence of Neolithic passage tombs that align with the sunrise on this day. It's an amazing way to connect history with culture. Knowing their construction, we can say this day was significant because the physical structure amplifies its presence. Let there be light. Light, let it shine through on that 1st of February. Though, of course, the Neolithic people would not necessarily have referred to it as the 1st of February. But again, you get the idea. There's another point that I really like about these passage tombs and their link to Imbolc. For thousands of years, the sun could, on this day, shine into the tomb like clockwork. I qualify myself to say because one of the sites was, one of the example sites was excavated only 70 years ago. So it's got so a lot of that 4,000 to 5,000 years of history was spent with a lot of earth accumulated around it, spent in quiet isolation. But like I say, some things are preserved, some things are swept away, and some things fall to ruin. But we humans, we have built things that have lasted thousands of years, provided that we care for them. Just as the earth reminds us to have a deep clean in the spring, perhaps we need to think of cleaning our relationship with it. Just as we light candles and bonfires, maybe we need to think of how to illumine the dark nights of humanity. Just as the lambs are born and milk is provided, perhaps we need to think of the next generation and the ideas that need to be born and how they will be birthed and fed. The bird in our story is a prime example. The direction needed to start a revolution to save the forest came from a single quiet voice. It needed silence, just as seeds have the dark, cool earth and the silence of winter to come into being. Our ideas, too, will be small in some way. I spoke last week about how words were not enough. We have to live our values and fight for a more compassionate world. Many of us, make a post on social media and then we find ourselves putting out the next fire or tending to the next matter. But we need action more than just those words. And that can feel incredibly overwhelming. However, this action, its germination can be small. It might be a protest. It might be a conversation. It might even just be a silent prayer. But it is something. And Imbolc reminds us that before summer, before spring, when the warmth triumphs over winter, it does so one day at a time. Nor must we think that we are alone in this. Listening to the earth, observing these days in the natural calendar, paying homage to the seasons, will help us to hear the bird song that accompanies our efforts, the babbling brook as it carries out the water cycle, and the myriad tasks of flora and fauna that run alongside our noble pursuits. And we'll also have each other. Just as the warming earth and sun imperceptibly guide the radicals and shoots of the plant, so too will we find our efforts rewarded. I don't know what rituals or structures, physical or otherwise, will exist in the centuries and millennia ahead. But I do think that if I seek to discern what is greatest in me and advocate for the greatest in each of every one that I meet, then some good will come of it, even if not seen by my eyes. I have faith that, however small, we are at the start of something good. Amen. A few notices before we sing our final final hymn. Don't worry, you're not going to know more prayers today. I'm grateful for, of course, anyone who signs up to volunteer. We have, incidental. So if you need to, if you can volunteer on the day, that's great. But otherwise, let me know what aspects of volunteering you're willing or interested in, such as managing the IT, greeting, helping with the tea and coffee, and we're sort of developing a quasi-light, soft touch rota system to sort of make sure that we all are able to sort of keep the chapel functioning well. If you're new, please consider joining our mailing list. I send out an email usually about once a week, just with details about upcoming events and things that might be of interest, primarily here at the chapel, but sometimes further afield. I'm afraid I don't have the times, but tomorrow is the start of, Challenging Hate Week, or Hate Crime Awareness Week. There is an event at the cathedral, begins in the morning. If you are interested, let me know and I will get the details to you later today. So that is tomorrow. I'm afraid I can't make it, so if there is someone in the chapel who would be interested in attending, it'd be fantastic to have a Unitarian and a cross-street presence there. Do we have anyone to help with tea and coffee today? Thank you, Carl. So are there any announcements or notices from the congregation? Let us then sing our final hymn, number 120, Wendy Luella Perkins, "Oh, We Give Thanks." We're going to sing this through, I think I said 3 times? Yeah, we're going to sing it through 3 times. "Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away." Thank you, Aaron, for that fantastic music. Thank you, Neat and Sonia, for helping to set up, and thank you, Richard, for greeting, and Carl for the tea and coffee that we're about to enjoy. I forgot that we do actually have a communion after this portion. Communion at this chapel is open to everyone. It's not barred from anyone, and nor is it required for anyone. So if you wish to participate, please join us during the postlude music. Please join us in this front row. You're also welcome to just sit in any subsequent row and just observe if you don't necessarily want to actually participate in the communion, or if you want to go through for the tea and coffee ahead of time, that would be fine. I grew up where we used to call the tea and coffee the Unitarian Communion, but that's more of an American thing. So thank you all for creating and sharing worship today. We close with these words of the poet Pablo Neruda. "You can cut all the flowers, but you cannot keep spring from coming."